Yo, what's up, YouTube? Whew. So yeah, I took those videos down because I was tweaking. I don't even half of that shit I was talking about. Man, I wouldn't really normally say that. I would be pissed off at the way life going for me. So I took that shit down. I ain't gonna do that shit again. But I do want to talk about something, man. It's about women, man. You know, in my spare time, when I'm out in the world trying not to be a broke ass N-word, I interact with society sometimes. But the majority of the times, you know, I look at social media and stuff. So I look at social media, and then I got my own experiences. And I say that because what I'm about to say next. I've always had a theory that women were not actually the woman that we were told about in the Bible. Is not the woman that we got today. Because women, like my first point, women have no moral compass at all. Women only act off self-interest. Anything a woman does is off of self-interest. And that's the truth. Women can't be like follow God. Even if they say they are and they think they are, they can't do it. They're biologically wired to do the exact opposite, actually. And there's a lot of other reasons. I'm gonna get to that in a minute, but I don't want to forget my point. This is why I think women, the ones we got, aren't actually from the same bloodline of Adam and Eve. And I'm gonna give you an example why I think that. If you ever read the Christian version, the Christian Bible, in the book of Genesis, that's literally the beginning. That's literally the beginning of the book of the Bible. It tells you about the creation of the world and all that. And then it talks about these two people called Adam and Eve, which are said to be the first human beings ever. Well, you know Adam and Eve was in the Garden of Eden originally. And then something happened. Apparently, a snake, a serpent, the devil, whoever it was, deceived Eve and made her eat from a tree that was in the garden that God said not to eat from. In the Bible uses a lot of symbolism. So I don't think that they were talking about a literal apple. I think they were talking about something else. Whatever it was that they did, it had to be some type of physical act between that serpent and Eve. Because when God found out, you know, he came back and found out that this woman done ate this apple with this snake, serpent, or the devil, whoever it was, and she gave it to Adam. So he kicked him out. But before he kicked him out, if you read in the Bible, there was something specific he said to Eve and the serpent. He said, I'm going to put immunity between you and your seed. Now, why would God say that? What seed is he talking about? I believe that what I'm getting at is, I believe that the serpent and Eve did some type of, had an intimate moment. And spun off a different bloodline. I believe that there's two bloodlines. A bloodline of Adam and Eve and a bloodline of the serpent. Now, there can be both genders and both bloodlines. But what I see, based off how the women of today is, I think that the serpent and Eve's bloodline produce more women than men. A lot more women than men. See, what I'm trying to tell you is, Eve and that serpent got jiggy with it. And they produced a child. It's actually a whole story about this and folklore. Y'all ever heard of the woman called Lilith? There's a woman called Lilith. She actually mentioned in the original Bible, but she's more mentioned in outside the Bible, but a part of the Bible, if you get what I'm saying. There's mention of a woman, and that she was actually the first woman, but she didn't look entirely like a human. I mean, she was pretty and all, but she looked more. She didn't look entirely human. If you look up Lilith, the first woman, you can see pictures of her on Google. Do the research yourself if you think I'm just making shit up. All this I'm saying is what I've seen. So Eve probably had Lilith first and then made it with Adam. Got jiggy with Adam, and then made Cain and Abel. And then when Cain did what he did to Abel, he probably made it with Lilith. And spawned. So you got a woman that was born from a snake and a woman, and then you got a woman, which is Lilith. She born from a non-human mixed with a human, and then she go to Cain, who was the first murderer, and mate with him, and they produce all these children, which, I mean, seems to be female. Most of them. And I think that's what we got today. There's good women out here. But it is rare. I would go as far as to say they went extinct centuries ago, years ago. The good women. All we got left now is the bad women. Women that I don't believe are even from Adam and Eve, but from Eve and the serpent. I mean, because women do some fucked up shit, man. They're cold, they're callous, they have attitude, they're so hateful. They believe the world revolves around them. They believe that they're the center of the universe. And I've ran into a few women. They think that men exist to serve them. I don't think I've met a woman today that can produce any good thoughts. All their thoughts are bad. They're selfish and me, and fuck the other guy. I have to say, I feel like even my own mom is turning that way. Cause we my younger sisters, they damn sure know they that way. They're just rude and nasty. But the crazy part is although they're females, and I'm a man, I find it odd that my mom kind of just looks at me and say, "You man, go figure out all your troubles." It helps them out, even though they bring trouble to themselves. And that's pretty destructive, like my youngest sister. My youngest sister, the most disrespectful out of all of them. I can't tell you how many times my mom had to call the police on her, but yet my mom would spend thousands of dollars to bail her out of any situation. And it baffles me. Then I'm starting to understand. Women have this hive mind thing because they're not. They have some type of ability, because I believe they're not entirely human. So they have this hive mind ability. So all women understand that they can pretty much overthrow this world if they stick together, and that's exactly what they done. Now, not every woman in every country has got this together, but in order for the plan to work, they don't need every woman in the world right now. They just need every woman in America, the most powerful country in the world. And that's exactly what happened. This is why men don't want nothing to do with Western American women. They done clicked up and they said, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna let 85% of men that ain't got this, that, and that, we're gonna let them. To us, they don't exist. We're only gonna chase after the 10%, the 5% of men. Then they got together and said, all right, the 85% keep trying to fuck with us. So we're gonna make up this stuff where if one of those undesirable men that we don't want to talk to us, we're gonna call him all type of names, make him lose his job, destroy his reputation, yell all type of essays and great allegations, and get them probably beat up or sent to upstairs by society and stuff. And then we're gonna keep on moving. And then they also came up with, we need to figure out a way to protect ourselves from accountability, because accountability to a woman is kryptonite. You hold a woman accountable, it's like she's about to explode. Literally. Women done got together with this hive mind ability that they got. And they do a lot of wrong. And then, since they kind of run the world in a way, because most men, they're chasing after them, they can get away with pretty much anything. You can have a woman, and I've seen it so many times, especially with them Atlanta body cams. You can have a woman. Okay. Just sit there. You can have a woman, like this woman that's just, I'm walking down the street and I'm looking at a woman. She looking at me with her husband. And women to me just appear demonic. They appear demonic to me. They just got this look, like you can see the demon in them. Anyway. Women, they come together with this half-mind ability, start running the world. This is why they don't get in trouble for anything. You can have a woman like them body cam videos that you watch. You can have a woman motherfucking commit to send two people to upstairs. And they more likely, all they gotta do is cry, say, I felt threatened and I was attacked and all that. They designed that. Women designed that. And the government would say, the judge would say, okay, we'll just give you probation. That she sent two people upstairs and get probation. That's crazy. Another thing that proves my point that I think women are of another race entirely, it's because if you look at most women, especially when they're young, pretty, pretty much in their prime, they always go for the worstest type of men. But do you know why that is? Do you know why women go for the worstest type of men, especially when they're at their highest in their beauty and in their prime and fertility? It's because they're technically going after their own bloodline of men. But remember, I told you, I think women are from a different bloodline. But men are also from that bloodline as well. There's two bloodlines. The bloodline of Adam and Eve, and the bloodline of Eve and that serpent. And the bloodline of Adam and Eve produced male and female. The bloodline of the serpent and Eve produced male and female. Why do you think women always go after the worstest character of men? Why do you think that? They go after men that... I know I saw a Bandicam video one time, and I could guess it's because a woman called the police on the dude, and of course she plays victim. That's what they came up with that model. And I could already guess the dude she with is gonna have a horrible character, and sure enough, he did. She got with this dude, even had kids by him, and he's been to prison 4 times. 4 times for beating on women. I mean, I've seen women date guys that are just monsters. That cheat on you, take their stuff, or like their car and stuff whenever they want to, put their hands on them and all that. And a woman are still with them. They chose them, they get with them. But why do they do that? Because the men that they're getting with are from the same bloodline as they are, which is a half human bloodline. Look, my space running out. I'm gonna make a part 2, but I want y'all to ponder on that. Somebody yelling at me. I'm not really supposed to be turning around. I'm in the hood out here. But yeah, I really want y'all to ponder that. Think about what I'm saying. Look at the Bible. Look what God said to the serpent when he found out that they ate the apple. And then look at how women act. Look at the men they date. Think about how immoral and self-absorbed and arrogant and all this that women are. Women got one of the worst characters of the human race. Think about it. I'm out, y'all.